2024 Mercedes-Benz GLC 43 AMG. So you walk inside a Mercedes-Benz dealership looking for a GLC, and there it is, the GLC 300. It's perfect in size, you like its stature, but it's missing some pizzazz. And then you talk to a sales guy, and he's like, we have the Mercedes-Benz GLC 63 SE Performance, and it makes 671 horsepower and over 700 pound-feet of torque, and you get excited. Until you see the price. And then you're like, do you have anything in between? And he's like, we don't have it here, but we have a GLC 43. And let me tell you, this is all you need. But with that said, I still want to get my hands on a 63 SE Performance so I can just have giggles when I do the launch. Now I'm excited because we've had the GLA 45, which is smaller than the GLC, and that four-banger rips. So I'm excited to tell you that this one does as well. In the 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLC 43 AMG. This makes 416 horsepower, which is 162 horsepower more than the GLC 300. We're gonna launch this thing, put this thing in sport. Let's see what we can get. Race start and go. Come on.
So that 0 to 60 time is faster than a Lexus LC500 with a V8.
Now for 2024, all GLCs have updated their design to look similar to this. This is an AMG, so it has a bit more fluff. You've got the AMG badge up top, a nice big Mercedes-Benz logo. You have these vertical louvres in sort of an aluminum polished finish. Then you have a camera. Did you guys hear that click on my knees? Yep, I gotta do more bending. There we go. Then you have AMG lower grille, very, very typical. You have this matte aluminum finish. Then of course, Parktronics. And on the side here, you have this big open inlet. That's not open. And if you're wondering if the headlights do any sort of special trick, well, take a look. Welcome inside of the Mercedes-Benz GLC 43 AMG. Okay, my favorite. I love this thing. So check out these wheels. They're 21-inch wheels. And I know what you're thinking. They're cool looking, and they are. They have a bit of monoblockish design going on. But you know what's terrible about them? They're impossible to clean. Look at all these little divots. You'd spend months cleaning all four wheels. Now, you have cross-drilled rollers behind them. Then you have 21-inch wheels. You have 265s on the front and 295s on the back because it is a bit more rear-wheel drive biased. Now, moving down from there, this is graphite gray. You have the turbo electrified badge. Of course, you've got the LED indicators in the mirrors, a 360 camera, a lot of matte silver going up on the top, the sides, and on the bottom. Now, it probably looks a bit funny from your perspective, but over here you have a very thin sort of side step, and then it widens out to the back. The interesting part about this is it's completely aesthetic. This is not designed to actually use. It is not a very high vehicle. You can't raise or lower it. The suspension does adapt to your driving conditions based on what drive modes you're in. Now, what you may not notice is that the vehicle kind of curves this way, and it does that so you can have this longer window back here because I can see the blind spot right here. Technically, there is no real blind spot. The difference between here and here is your blind spot. It's not a big area. And if you have something in your blind spot, obviously the mirror will tell you, boom, you have something in your blind spot. The point of this is to tell you that the design of this gives you a lot of glass, and that glass gives you visibility for the safety of the driver. And if you're wondering why you need so much space back here, it's because it has rear wheel steering. Now let's whip around the back of this Mercedes-Benz. So first things first, a real miss here in my opinion. You see this rear wiper? This should be tucked in underneath. Now another miss here is this rear window. This should be tinted, just like the sides. I know, it's an SUV. Should it be tinted? That's what I thought too. You've got the Mercedes-Benz logo here. I do really like this updated rear tail lamps from Benz. This part they really have figured out. You have quad exhaust that looks so wide and cool. Now upon further investigation, this side has a single that flares into two, and that side is dual that continues to be dual.
So if you're wondering about towing capacity on this GLC 43 AMG, well, they only show the number for the coupe on the website, which is about 3,130 pounds. If you're looking at the regular SUV, it just says TBD.
So when you get inside this GLC 43 AMG, you're reminded that it is an AMG. You have AMG on the sills, AMG on the carpet, and when you get inside, you get AMG on the steering wheel. And I think that the 43 is the best because how much more exciting can the interior be in the 63? Yeah, you'll probably have slightly different trim. You might have one extra piece here, but essentially this is going to be it. So on the panel, the driver's and the passenger panel, you have 3 increments or 3 positions of memory seat. You've got the Burmester sound system. You also have backlit ambient lighting everywhere, pretty much on all the vents. On the bottom of the dash here, this line all the way down. You even have it on the steering wheel. Pretty much everywhere ambient lighting, including the headliner. Yeah, Mercedes-Benz, or Club AMG as I like to call it. This heads-up display is absolutely massive, and you can tell that from this huge gouge from this front dash. It's massive. This is almost as big as the GMC Denali that has like 10 inches. I'm pretty sure this is 10 inches because it is massive to my eyes, especially when you're ripping this thing and it's revving. It's like, and also when you are ripping, take a look at this gauge. This gauge right here shifts so fast, it is like mind-blowing. Now this screen is a 12.3 inch screen, and this screen for the center is an 11.9 inch screen. Your steering wheel is the best AMG wheel you can get, pretty much. You've got AMG on the bottom like I talked about. On the left and right here you've got dials that you can turn. Well, the right one you can turn, the left one's real more like pushies, but they kind of look the same. The start and stop button is right here, but everything else is really going to go through this screen, including your navigation, your HVAC, everything's touch. There's not really any physical buttons here. Well, we're in 2024, pretty much in 2025, and that's just the way it is. Now down into the center console, I use my finger and I slide this cover or panel back, and I can see a wireless charger kind of hidden, tucked underneath there. 1 USB-C, 2 cup holders. Now down from there, I push this button, it opens up a little bit more space here in this storage, and then I have 2 more USB-Cs. Now what about comfort for my elbow here? It is decent. What about the seats? Well, these ones in specific are not ventilated. These just have the brown insert in the middle, and then I do have some bolstering left and right. I can't really control much on these specific seats, just lumbar up, down, left, and right, and that's about it. There's no bolstering that tightens up anywhere. This is simply just lumbar. So let's briefly talk about this 11.9 inch screen. As you can see, majority of the screen is the navigation, and the bottom here is HVAC. This does not move. It's just the top here that changes based on the buttons you hit. Now on the left-hand side here on the top, you have a little widget of the vehicle. You hit it, and it basically just gives you a quick go-to for the navigation directions. So let's talk about something unique about this specific one. When I hit this home button here, I've got this. Pretty typical, right? But you have a few extra things. You have off-road, but this is no off-roader. Thank God they got this. Performance. Right there. That's what we're going to use, and that's what we're going to keep. You've got vehicle, engine, IWC, which essentially means it's got a clock. Oh, I get it. It's to just see if you can stop at the 2-second mark. Oh, man, I'm going to play the lottery today. I'm gonna be rich. And then you got performance series that gives you track race, drag race, and telemetry. So drag race is really cool because obviously you can set it up a specific way and you can see how fast you can get down the quarter mile.
Is it telemetry or telemetry?
Telemetry.
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 So one of the things about these smaller SUVs is the back seat kind of lack anything of substance. Now, getting in the back of this Benz, how does it feel? Well, the door is very solid for starters. The seat is fairly upright. It is good. I'd say fair, a bit hard on the back. Bum feels firm. That's good. It feel like a long drive's not gonna hurt my body. I feel like you need to have something firm in the back here. Love the nice big panoramic sunroof, and look how far it goes back. It goes back to behind my head, which means I'll never feel claustrophobic back here. These seats are tapered very, very tight, and then you have the skinny headrest. So a lot of visibility. There's no issues there. The only issue back here is there's nothing to plug my phone in. There's no USB, USB-C, there's nothing, nada. Not even a 12 volt. That's kind of sad. But they do have vents, so you won't die of heat or freeze your butt back here, because you'll have some air flowing in your face. Pen, cup holder. So they have this little tiny storage compartment here in addition to the ones behind the seats. But the question is, what are you putting back here? What is so small for anybody to use back here? It makes no sense. There was once a time when vehicles of this size would not have a power tailgate. They'd be an option. Well, at this price point, you'd expect it. But you have some extra buttons. One more to be exact, right there. That is to open and close the tailgate. The one next to it is to lock the vehicle and walk away, and then the tailgate goes down. So how much room do we have on the back of this GLC 43? As far as depth goes, we have 37 inches. Width, we have 44. And height, for those that are interested in carrying plants, 29 inches high. What about what's underneath here? Do we have any storage underneath here? My likely answer is negative. A full-size spare, and then you have your battery and stuff like that. But really nothing to store down here. Anything you put in there will just rattle around. So storage you have on the side here, and basically absolutely nothing there. Now you do have a tonneau cover that comes back that you can hide stuff in case in the winter you live in an area where people break into the window glass, because it's not tinted, remember, and steal stuff from the back. Well,
Why the winter?
Well, it's because we live in Canada and people like to steal in December, and Christmas is the time of giving. Now you have buttons on both sides, and those buttons are to drop the seat. And I like that, because most vehicles have two buttons here, and that's that. But on this side, you have a button here. It folds flat. When the seat moves, as you saw right there, the seat moves, the passenger side, and then the seat drops. Normally, you'd pull that button, it would stop at the seat. You have to go to the front, move the passenger side forward, and then do this again. Kind of annoying. But this Benz moves forward for you. Then you have the button on this side, you pull down, and then come on! This is really weird. I just did it 2 seconds ago and it went all the way down. Anyways, the point is that you'll see that this seat does fold down fairly flat. When I do pull it back here, oh, it's got stuck on something. Oh, it's a seat belt. That's what it was. Okay, so just to prove that point, let me just move the seat belt out the way and show you that button again. If I pull this here for 1 second, there we go. There we go, I did it. So it's got enough of a spring tension. It's not completely flat. It does have a bit of an angle, which is pretty typical on this size. Let's see how much room we have onto the back center console quickly for you guys, because I'm sure you guys want to know how big this is, because size is definitely a factor. Got 64 inches to here and about 67 inches to the end of the sill. One more time for good luck. Race start. Oh my God. When you are in comfort, it doesn't feel like what it does in Sport Plus. It is a weapon in Sport Plus. In comfort, it's just like chilling. Hey guys, how's it going? Good, how are you? Amazing. And then you go into Sport Plus and you're like, what's up guys? It's like if you have not been in Mercedes-AMG product, it is very theatrical in every sense. Like the heads-up display is massive. It takes up so much of this front glass. It is just wild, the theatrics that come along with it. And then of course at night, all this ambient lighting can change color in any sort of color that your heart desires. So how is it to drive? Now I talked about the smallness of it, and I can really feel it when I get in the cabin. This is a very tight cabin. Like the distance from here till here is kind of small. So if you're a bigger person or you just like to have more space in the vehicle, well, it might be a little bit tight for you. I'm a little guy. Okay, those are my glasses. I'm a little guy, so for me, it's perfect. It's just nimble. I like smaller cars. Big cars, not really for me. I like to whip cars around and make them tossable, and this is exactly what this is. Now, we have the Toyota Land Cruiser this week as well, which is obviously not as nimble as this. So I just got in this, and this feels like a sports car. Like a sports car. Amazing. Just imagine driving this every day as a daily driver, ripping through the streets. It's fun. It's energetic. It's light. Complaints, because of course everyone's like, what's the problem with this? How do we make it better? Like, what complaints do you have? I mean, it looks like a small car, so if you're trying to get something that looks a bit more formidable, larger size, you're not going to get that. This does look like a small, sort of a hatchback vibe. I think those are facts. That's what it looks like. I would say this looks closer to an X1 really than an X3 in my opinion, but it's just because it looks small on the outside. Inside, it's not bad. Depends what city you live in, to be honest. If you live in a big city with a lot of tight roads, well, this would be amazing.
Hey there, Ian, the guy behind the camera here at Accelerate, and I'm just jumping in quickly because I spent a lot of extra time with the GLC 43 as Mike had to leave midweek to travel. And if you can't tell by the smile on my face, I absolutely hated this car. Kidding, I had a blast. This is a really fun car to drive. It feels like a go-kart. But yeah, this is more than enough power. You don't need more power than this, really. But how is it to actually just daily drive? And the transmission is a little jerky, I will say that, even in comfort mode, when you're just cruising around town and you want to go from first to second gear, it does kind of jitter a bit. And well, it's just kind of the case with a lot of sports cars. Keep that in mind if you are looking at one of these, that the transmission is ready for all-out action. It is quite stiff. And I will say there is quite a lot of creaking in this cabin. It comes and goes. Really, from the center console is where I hear a lot of it.
I mean, I can fault some small stuff like saying, well, this screen here feels like it's just put on, and people do say that, or the border around it is so thick, it's not a 2024 model, this looks like a 2020 model. You could say that. Those are small complaints about it. Some people don't like this like full carbon fiber look they've got going on here. That's all small stuff. I know that the price is expensive. I think everything's expensive nowadays. But in terms of what it gives you, if you want a small, nimble SUV, sit higher, rips like a car, it's fun to drive, anybody can get in and have fun with this thing, and you want to like maybe double it up as a toy, it kind of does that, has some driblets of good times. So I think that this is a good package overall. Sound system's excellent. I don't know, I really like this. This is a good all-around SUV. Looks the part. I just think about the price. That's up to you guys. You let me know in the comments below if this is worth the money. So for those that have driven a 2024 Mercedes-Benz GLC 43 AMG, the alphabet, let me know in the comments below what you think. Would you buy one of these over the X3, even the 340i, as an example? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll catch you on the next one.